me put on the video. We're going to be doing the second chapter of Hallchot Geniva. I was just caught in the rain, so I'm a little wet, but hopefully I will dry up soon. And interesting, you know, we refer in the Torah, we have what's called chukim, like Perashat Chukat, and then we have mishpatim, like Perashat Mishpatim. So we say, what are the mishpatim? Mishpatim are the civil rules, the laws, the criminal law, property law, tort law. Mishpatim are the judicial rules governing the Jewish people. That's mishpatim. So ve'ele ha-mishpatim asher tasim lepnehem. Right after Matan Torah, we have Perashat Mishpatim, which have many of the rules that we're studying over the last few weeks. And then there's chukim. Chukim are legislation. Legislation, chok, a law, decreed by the king. And we say that the chukim is not something that we fully understand. Meaning, the reasoning for the law is not always 100% clear, right? So the classic example is what we studied 2 Shabbatot ago. We studied Perashat Chukat. And Perashat Chukat, Zot Chukat HaTorah. And what was Perashat Chukat about? It was about the Para Aduma. So the Para Aduma is one of the Chukim. We say we don't understand Para Aduma so well. We're not sure what the logic or the reasoning for the law. A person was impure, and you sprinkle on him the ashes of a particular type of cow, specifically red, golden, and then he becomes pure. Why? Like, how does that make any sense? You understand? So it's called a chok. A chok is acknowledgement of the fact that there are rules that we don't fully understand. That's what we call a chukim. But I wanted to bring to your attention, and we're studying now mishpatim, that within the mishpatim, there are things we don't understand also. There are rules that don't make perfect sense, right? I'll give you an example. If a person causes damage to his fellow, so the Jewish law recognize, like he hits somebody. Reuven hits Shimon. So Jewish law recognizes 5 types of damages: pain, medicine, unemployment. Okay, five types of damages. If it's a pregnant woman and there's bar minan, miscarriage, that's the 6th type of damage. So the Reuven wants to punch Shimon, he accidentally punches the pregnant woman, and God forbid she has a miscarriage. That's the 6th type of damage. Okay. That's called demeh veladot. Demeh veladot means you pay whatever you pay. Another type of damage. So we have the 5 types of damages, but in this case, since she was pregnant and she had the miscarriage, the 6th type of damage, demeh veladot. If it was the cow of somebody that hurt this woman and she had the miscarriage, there's no demeh veladot. If it was an individual that directly hurt the woman, there's demeh veladot. Why? What's the logic? The answer is it's gezerat hakatuv. That's what the pasuk says. Can somebody explain to me the logic? If an ox causes damage to another person, yes, you have to pay damages, right? You have to pay damages, 5 types of damages, but not demeh veladot. Why? What difference does it make? No, gezerat hakatuv. So you're going to see that there are going to be some laws that you're going to say, why? What's the reason? And my answer is going to be gezerat hakatuv. We don't understand everything about the mishpatim. In the case of the mishpatim, we understand a lot. A lot of the things do make sense to us, but these are rules given by God in the Torah. So to say that we understand 100% of the reasoning of every single case, no. You know who knew God's mind? What? What? No. What do you mean? I was about to. No, even Shlomo HaMelech, in the case of Para Aduma, but that was a chok, right? But that was a chok. He says, "Amarti echkama b'hi rechoka meni." I thought I could understand every law in the Torah, and I couldn't. When I got to Para Aduma, why is it that the ashes of the Para Aduma, it purifies an individual who was defiled to a dead person? Tamemet, that's called Tamemet. but the person who prepares the ashes of the parah, the mahi, becomes impure. Why? That doesn't make any sense. So he said, I don't understand everything. There was a person who knew God's mind perfectly. You know who this person was? Bil'am. That's right, Mikey. Bil'am. The pasuk says, it's a mocking, obviously. We're mocking him. You know, anybody who thinks they know God's mind, that's Bil'am. Right? The Hachamim say that, you know, he was fighting with his atom, with his female donkey. He was having a big fight. He didn't know why the donkey was trying to run away, and he's trying to bring the donkey back to the road, and the donkey is scared because the donkey sees the angel. She's terrified. He doesn't see the angel. The donkey has more spiritual perception than Bil'am. Just think of that for a second, right? Okay, but anyway, he's fighting with her, and then she starts talking, why are you hitting me? And he said, about hitting you, I wish I could kill you. If I had a sword, I'd kill you. And they're arguing. He's arguing with the donkey. It's like a Brazilian soap opera. He's having a Brazilian soap opera, you know, yelling and probably tears and out with you. And okay, fine. The Torah is mocking these people. You understand? It's a divine comedy. So the Chachamim say, Ve'odei da'at elyon. Bil'am, he knew the mind of God. So the Chachamim say mockingly, he doesn't know the mind of his own donkey. He didn't know why his donkey was fighting with him, but he knows the mind of God, right? So the minute you have people who talk about they know the mind of God, the Christians, Paul in the New Testament, the Gospels according to Paul, the replacement of the Jewish people with what they call Verus Israel. We know the mind of God. The original Torah is no good. We're going to have now the new Torah, right? So they know the mind of God. You know. So who knows the mind of God? A person who doesn't have the intellectual perception of a donkey. That's a person who knows the mind of God. A real Chacham, Navi, understands that he can never understand God's mind. Maybe God will speak to him, maybe he'll tell him something, maybe he'll understand something, maybe he won't. Moshe Rabbeinu, the minute God appears, what does Moshe Rabbeinu do? But Yastel Moshe Panav, he covers his face. Like, who am I to even experience the presence of God? Just the presence of God, I don't feel I'm worthy to experience. You understand? The Jewish, the Jewish Chachamim, the Jewish Nevi'im, the humility, they don't know the mind of God. Nobody knows the mind of God. All right? So that's important. So I'm just saying that as an introduction because we're going to be studying some laws here, and I'm going to describe the laws to you, and in many cases I will explain the reasoning, but there's going to be some cases where I can't explain. Okay? Mm-hmm. All right, so let's read. Hagonevet hagoy. If a person robs from a goy. Now we said normally the penalty is you have to return what you robbed, and then there's a penalty of 100%. So if you robbed $100, you return $200. In the case of a goy, eno meshalem ela keren. You only pay the principal amount. You don't pay a penalty. You say, oh, we're against goyim, right? Oh, the Jews are against goyim. No, I skipped over. Hagonevet a goy. If you rob from a goy, or shiganav nichse hekdesh, you went and you robbed the property that belongs to the Bet HaMikdash. Hekdesh? Also. Same way when you rob a goy, you don't pay the penalty. When you rob the property of the Bet HaMikdash, you don't pay the penalty. So let me explain to you the law of nichse hekdesh. A person, for example, he has an expensive watch. He says, I've donated, I'm hereby, says this person, donating this watch, a $50,000, $100,000 watch, to the treasury of the Bet HaMikdash. That watch now has the status of Hekdesh. It no longer belongs to a person, it belongs to the Bet HaMikdash, to God. So and now they're going to come, they're going to take the watch, bring it to the Bet HaMikdash, they'll probably sell it for profit, and whatever, and the money, they'll use it for the needs. They used to use the money for what's called Bedek HaBayit, for the repair. They were always improving the Bet HaMikdash. They were always making new walls, new floors, painting, new gold, right? That's called Bedek HaBayit. So now a person robbed Nichse Hekdesh, there's no penalty. You know why? That's between him and God.
Yeah,
that's between him and God.
Of course.
There's no penalty. No. Penalty means there's expiation.
Okay.
Here, just God doesn't do. God is saying, do me a favor. I'll deal with you. Don't give me the 100% penalty. I'd rather deal with things my way. Shneimar, as the pasuk says, Yeshalem shenayim lera'ehu. The pasuk says you have to pay double to your friend. God is not your friend. Lera'ehu velo laitesh. To your friend, you pay double. Friend here means your colleague, your equal. By the way, we have an extra page. Do you want a page? Yeah, please. We have extra. Please, we have more than enough. No. We should have. Do you have an extra page there? Also, give him Sorry. Yeah, Mechila, I'm sorry. Okay.
So, but he's getting shortchanged. The goy.
One second. Good. Lere'ehu velo lagoy. Now, as far as the goy is not your colleague. He's not a citizen. He doesn't have the same rights as a citizen. So now, the Torah believes, we're very firm believers in equity. If you rob a goy, you have to return it. So we're not forgiving. But are you going to say that a goy has the right? A goy means a non-citizen. When we talk about goy, by the way, we're talking about a non-citizen. You are not a member of the Jewish nation. Everybody gets very nervous. You're against goyim. We like any nation, go down to Switzerland, try to become a citizen of Switzerland. Good luck. Right? Yeah, I want to be a citizen of Switzerland. They have all these. I want to be a citizen of Dubai. If you're a citizen of the UAE, you're entitled to certain oil revenue and zero taxation. Right? I want to be a citizen of they won't accept me. Bunch of bigots? No, they're not bigots. It's just every nation has its own criteria for citizenship, as does the Jewish nations. I want to explain that it's not a racial thing. As you know, you go to Israel, you see practically every single race. The Jewish people, God bless us. We have such amazing diversity. We really do. No other nation has what the Jewish nation has. So a goy is a non-citizen. So if you're an illegal immigrant coming into the U.S., are you entitled to Medicaid? Don't answer that question. I'm sorry, that was the wrong question. Right, but you understand the idea. Meaning, the idea is if you're not a citizen, I'm not a citizen of France. I know France has fantastic rights for citizens. They get rental income. They get salaries from the government. I would love to get that. But they don't want to accept me as a citizen. And I don't want to be a citizen, in France. You understand? So the point is, as a goy, of course you're entitled to your property back, 100%. But you're not going to get that extra penalty. Understand? וכן הגונב קדשים מבית בעליהם, בין קודשי קדשים, בין קדשים קלים, בין קדשים שהבעלים חייבים באחריותם, בין קדשים שהבעלים חייבים באחריותם, הרי זה פטור מן הכפל ומתשלומי 4 ו5. A similar situation. A person wants to go to the Bet HaMikdash. He wants to bring a korban with him. So he goes, he spends $5,000, I don't know, $50,000, I don't know how much it costs. He buys a beautiful cow. He's going to bring the cow as a korban to the Bet HaMikdash. It was very expensive. Okay, don't forget a cow is I don't know how many tons of meat. Probably even today it's very expensive. So he buys this beautiful cow. He's going to bring it as a korban to the Bet HaMikdash. And somebody robs the cow from him. Now, as far as the owner of the cow is concerned, he just spent a huge amount of money on this animal. Halakha is, you have to pay back whatever you robbed, the cow, or you pay back the value of the cow. There is no kefel. Harizeh patur mina kefel. And not only is he patur mina kefel, if the robber does shechita on the cow, or if the robber sells the cow. Remember we said, normally he would have to pay 5 times the value of the cow, right? If he slaughters it, or if he sells it. Here, he slaughtered the cow, he sold the cow, he gets caught, he only returns the cow. No arba v'chamisha and no kefel. Very interesting, no? Mm-hmm. Why? I believe, first of all, let me read to you the pasuk. Shene'emar, ve'runav mi bet ha'ish ve'lo mi bet hekdesh. The pasuk says, if you rob something from the house of your fellow, from a house of a person, I'm sorry. So the Chachamim say, but not from the house of God. Since this cow was going to be a korban in the Bet HaMikdash, it's like you robbed from the house of God. And again, God is saying, you robbed this cow, it was a Kadesh. God is saying, good luck to you, right? There's an expression, I'm giving you the rabbi version of the expression, mess around and find out, right? Something like that, right? Well, yes. Yes, mess around and find out. Okay, you don't want to rob from the Kadesh. What are you, out of your mind? Don't do it. Okay, all right. So that's one topic. So we finished it. Any questions before we continue? Any? Go ahead.
So they're picking up on the specific word of Eho, it's his fellow Jew, and Bayit, meaning from the house of a human being and not the house of God.
Yes.
That's how they come up with that.
Yes, exactly.
Is it a good question? I mean, is it a asmachta? That in other words, it's just they're putting the pasuk and like putting it on there as a reminder, and that it was always that way.
Interesting. I think this is more than a smachta. I think this is a derasha. I think this is an actual derasha.
To understand how through and through.
Yes, exactly. Okay. Okay, so until now we're dealing with movable property, right? What's the word in English? Yeah, movable property or chattel. Okay, as opposed to real estate. Okay, so in Judaism, there's three types of property that do not have the status of movable property. Number one, I'm going to start with karkaot, real estate. Real estate is not considered movable property, obviously, and it doesn't have the status of movable property. So therefore, if a person goes into somebody's field and takes over the field, there is no tashlumei chefel for that. Shelo chiyeva Torah hakefel ela b'metaltalin. The law of double penalty is only with respect to chattel, shegufan mamon, because a chattel has it's interchangeable as currency, meaning I can sell you my watch and exchange it for something else. When it comes to property, the real estate property, that is given by God to the individual, and nobody has the power to dispossess an individual of his land, which is to say that if a robber comes and takes the land of somebody, let's say Shimon owns land, and that Reuven enters the land with the gun and kicks Shimon out, that has no legal standing. Reuven does not become the owner. There's no situation where we say Shimon had Yeush, he gave up hope, by God's gift to the Jewish people, and by God's gift to each one of the tribes, this person owns that land, unless the person himself decides to sell it. Even if he decides to sell it, not past the Yovel, up to Shenat HaYovel. So even the person himself can't sell the land in perpetuity. It's his land, he needs money, he can sell a leasehold to the land. Let's say the Shenat HaYovel is in 20 years, I can lease you the land for 20 years. After that, it goes back to me, or goes back to my children. I cannot say, oh no, I don't want my children to get it. I'm going to sell it to you forever, and I'm going to defraud my children. Can't do that. God gave it to me, and then it's going to go automatically to my children. So that's a question of the karkaot. You understand? And therefore, because the land can never be taken away, there is no kefel, there is no tashlumei kefel, there is no financial penalty. You understand? The financial penalty of 100%. Right.
So this is better than title lock.
What is title? I'm sorry.
That's a commercial. Somebody's gonna steal your house.
Yeah, online theft. Yes. Elohim Yishmor.
This is his, that's it.
Elohim Yishmor. Okay, yes, Shalom Nida. Okay. Shene'emar, al shor, al chamor, al se'al sama. The pasuk says, if somebody robs an ox, somebody robs a donkey, somebody robs a sheep, somebody robs a salma. Salma is a blanket. So the Chachamim say these are all examples of chattel, movable property, not real property. Now there's another thing. Jewish law recognizes the right to buy a domestic servant. That's Jewish law recognizes that. There could be an Evet Ivri, it could be a Jewish domestic servant, or it could be an Evet Kena'ani, a Gentile domestic servant. The status of the domestic servant is similar to the status of real estate, which is to say that if you rob somebody's slave, it's like you robbed his land, and you don't get kefel. So let's say that Reuven goes, Shimon has a great, domestic servant, best one. He knows how to make excellent, caviar. He knows how to make the best meals. He's a fantastic chef. He's a great housekeeper, everything. Worth $100,000. So that Reuven robs this person from Shimon. What? What was that? I'm sorry, I missed it.
Somebody takes somebody else's, chadam and the maid.
Right. Oh, yeah. That also, you can have a situation like that. You're right. A big fight. Who got some of this? Well, okay. There is no tashlumei chefel. Okay. So husbands, you don't have to worry about your wife robbing somebody's maid. She only has to return the maid. She doesn't have to pay a penalty for having stolen the maid in the first place. So that's interesting. So the law of the slave is like the law of real estate. Shene'eman v'itnahaltem otam. The word v'itnahaltem refers to the domestic servant. The domestic servant becomes part of the family. So even if the father passes away, the children now own him, right? And again, I always say this, that by us slavery had very little to do with the concept of slavery, either in America or in Roman law. By us, the slaves had rights and they were treated in a very special way. And if anything, to be the domestic servant of a Jew, a choice, you can choose it, or you can choose, I don't want to be a domestic servant. Whatever the reason you became one, that's a different story. I'm sorry?
Where do you come in? Meaning including the servant.
Exactly.
You and your family, your brother, and any human being that's with you.
Yes, exactly.
Is there a nahala? Nahala is like land, and it's not.
Exactly. Okay, interesting law. Now we're going to do another, and this is actually how Halacha Ma'aseh today. There is a law today of Peter Hamor. The law of Peter Hamor. So there's many different matanot kiuna. There's many different gifts that the Kohen is entitled to. So let me explain to you. For example, when you make shechita on an animal, the Kohen is entitled to the zeroah, the lechayim, and the keva, certain parts of the animal. The Kohen is entitled to it. Now, it's not that if you don't give those parts to the Kohen, you can't eat the meat. Let's say I go to a butcher now. I don't know, did he give the zeroah to the Kohen? Did he give the lechayim to the Kohen? Did he give the keva to the Kohen? I don't know, I'm not sure. Supposed to. Maybe he didn't. It doesn't matter. Well, I don't know. I take that back. Of course it does matter. But it doesn't make the meat non-kosher, is what I'm saying. Okay? So there are certain matanot kiuna that we must give. One of the matanot kiuna is Peter Hamor. The law of Peter Hamor applies anytime, whether there is Bet HaMikdash, whether there's no Bet HaMikdash, anywhere, whether you're in Israel, whether you're in exile. Somebody now has a farm somewhere in New Jersey. I know they have some of these farms there, yeah? And a person has a female donkey, and the female donkey never gave birth before, and now she gives birth. So this is her first child. What is a baby donkey called? A calf? No, I think a calf is a cow. Like a horse, I think is a fawn. Somebody check with ChatGPT, I'm just curious. In Hebrew, it's called the ayir. Ayir is a baby donkey, but I don't know what it's called in English. Maybe if you find it.
Mule?
No, mule is a combination of a horse and a donkey. That's something else.
Fowl.
Fowl? Fowl.
Yes.
Fowl. Okay. So now this female donkey gives birth to a fowl. That fowl today belongs to the Kohen. Now you have
Which Kohen?
any Kohen. Choose him. Choose a Kohen. Any Kohen. I know in Israel they still follow the law of Peter Hamor. I don't know whether, they should, meaning if there's a religious person and he owns a farm, he has to follow the law of Peter Hamor, and I'm sure they do, but I've never seen, we always see Pidyon Bechorot, that we see right in the knees, where you bring the baby, it's the first baby, right? The firstborn baby, it belongs to the Kohen, and then you redeem it for 5 coins of silver. In the case of the Peter Hamor, you redeem it with a sheep or the value of a sheep. That's what you do today. So today, Halacha L'Maaseh, you have a Hamor, a baby Hamor, a fawn. Okay, what do you do with the fawn? The Kohen doesn't want the fawn. Okay, what's he going to do with the fawn anyway? So you have to be podeh. You have to make pidyon. It's asul be'ana. Anyway, it's forbidden to, you can't derive any benefit from the spawn. And that's an important point. You'll understand in a minute why I'm telling you that law. It's asul be'hana'ah. Now, so what do we say? Kadesh lichol bechol petek ol rechem b'bnei Yisrael. We say it every morning, right? Right? And now it says, ve'im lo tifteh ba'arafto. You have two choices. Either you take the fawn and you redeem it with the sheep, and you give the sheep to the kohen, or you give the value, the financial value of the sheep to the kohen, or you do not shechita. Shechita is from the neck, from here. You do what's called arifa. Arifa is from the back. Okay, that's arifa. Can I explain this law?
You break its neck.
I mean, not just break, but exactly. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. At the end, the neck and the head will be detached from the body. That is from in back. Okay. So, I don't know. It's a law. That's a law. Mm-hmm. So, halakha le'maaseh, nobody does harifa. I didn't want to do harifa, but do pidyon. Save the poor animal. Here, you get that. Give the money to the kohen. Okay, no problem. Let's say a person robbed a petel chamor. Now, this petel chamor is asul be'hana'ah. And the guy, let's say Reuven was the owner of the hamor. Shimon robs the hamor from Reuven. Okay, he doesn't know it's a petel hamor. He has a baby fawn. And Reuven didn't do pidyon. If he did pidyon, okay, it's like robbing anything else. Here he didn't do pidyon. משלם תשלום בכפל לבעלים. שאף על פי שאין לו עכשיו שלו, ראוי הוא להיות לו לאחר שיפדה. Even though right now, the petel chamor was valueless. What are you going to do with the petel chamor? You have to kill it, right? We said if you don't redeem it, you kill it, and it's zero value. So if it has zero value, you would say that if the robber robs it, he shouldn't have to pay anything. No, he has to pay the value of the chamor, and he has to pay double the value of the chamor. Why? Let's see why. What do you think? Why would you say he has to pay?
What was it again, the case?
Again, Shimon robbed a petel hamor from Reuven. Mm-hmm. The petel hamor, nobody did pidyon on it. Okay. So what does that mean? What's the value of the petel hamor that nobody did pidyon on? Apparently zero. You can't do it. What? You can't use it for anything.
It's the value of a sheep. All you said.
Or you do pidyon. Or correct. If you want to do pidyon, you could do pidyon on a sheep or the value of a sheep.
Yeah.
Correct.
But you're saying it has no value.
I mean, right now when you rob this petel hamor, it has no value because you can't do anything with it. It's asul be'hana'ah. I can't work with it. I can't use it. I can't do anything with it. So the question is, the robber, does he have to pay the full value, double the value, or zero? You understand the question?
Yep.
What do you think? I'm not gonna. Okay.
I think you just said.
I know the answer because I read it.
I think you just said double the value.
Double the value. Yeah. Why double the value? Because the person from whom it was robbed, Reuven, he could still redeem it. He can always redeem it. He could go to a kohen, say, listen, I had the hamor. Instead of the hamor, I give you the sheep. So he can redeem it. So since he can redeem it, it's not true. What I said actually was a trick question, because I said it has no value. It's not exactly true in the sense that I can choose to redeem it, and now if I choose to redeem it, it has a full value. And if it has a full value, well, the guy should not pay once, he should pay twice. You understand the idea?
Yep.
In order for him to redeem it, though, does he have to have possession of the animal?
Oh, that's a good question. Meaning, does the owner from whom it was robbed have to have possession? So read what Rambam says. He doesn't have to have possession.
Wow.
He doesn't have to have possession. He can redeem it. He goes to the kohen. I say, I want to redeem my hamor. My hamor is over there. Here's the money. The money whatever it says worth $100. Take the $100. I'm redeeming. Now he wouldn't want to do it because he doesn't have possession of the hamor. So it would be like a foolhardy thing for him to do. But theoretically, once we catch the ganav, give us the hamor back. We want the hamor. He didn't make shahita on the hamor. You can't eat it. Why would you make shahita on the hamor, right? But to your point, theoretically, yes. In theory, yes.
We're saying in this case, the person who robbed it, he knows it's an animal.
No.
Status, he doesn't know. He just robbed it.
He just robbed it. And by the way, even if he knew, it wouldn't matter. I mean, he would be foolish for having, maybe now he'll discover, oh my gosh, I robbed the Peter Hamor, and according to Jewish law, I can't do anything. You know, a lot of people, it's funny, when it comes to robbing, they'll rob. But if they find out it's a Peter Hamor, oh no, I don't want to do anything. I get superstitious, right? You know how people are. Right?
What's interesting though is if the guy, now it's robbed, the guy's obviously not going to redeem it. So in theory, it's like property of the Beit HaMikdash.
No, it's not Beit HaMikdash. It belongs to the Kohen. It doesn't have Kedusha.
So it doesn't have that same stuff.
No. It doesn't have Kedusha. It has, it's like the Matanot Keuna. I remember I brought the example of when you do shechita on an animal, the lehayim, for example, the jaw with the tongue, which is the tastiest part of the animal, I think. Right? Do you have anybody here have tongue Rosh Hashanah at night? It's very delicious. Right? It's oh no. Okay, I got it. I totally got it. If I wasn't eating tongue every Rosh Hashanah, I probably would also. But I grew up with it, so for me it's considered a delicacy. The Gemara in Masechet Bava Mesi'ah, Daf Pevav Amud Bet. Give me the Bava Mesi'ah. I want to see if I got this right. It brings the story of Avraham Avinu. It says. It says that, where is it? Let me see.
I grew up with a dog.
Here somewhere.
What's that?
I said I grew up with a dog. I just eat my dog's tongue. And it's just weird.
Here it is. Right? So it says that Avraham Avinu made shechita on 3 animals for the 3 malachim. So they said, how on earth are the 3 malachim going to eat? What are you going to make? Each one is going to eat a cow? Like it's ridiculous. Right? אבל you remember אברהם אבינו והנה שלושה מלאכים מסביב עליו? You hear the story in פרשת וירא, after the ברית מילה, יושב פתח האוהל כחום היום, right? Yeah? So it says, I think פ"ו, let's see if I got it right. Yeah, I was right, פ"ו עמוד ב', I just want to show you. This is פ"ז,
We believe you, Rabbi.
this is פ"ו, this is עמוד ב', and the Gemara says, ויקח בן בקר אחמתו, ואמר רב יהודה, בן בקר אחד, that's one animal, ורח שיניים, that's the second one, בטוב שלושה, הטעם תלותה תורה לתלתה גברה, right? So how can you have 3 cows, 1 cow per person? That's ridiculous. So I said, no. He gave them each a tongue, so each had a tongue. So tongue is considered a very big delicacy. There's another Gemara, I'm not going to open it now, but I think it's Masechet Cholin, Daf Kof Lamed Chet. It says that Rava, and he would eat it with mustard, with hardal. He would put mustard on the tongue. Yeah, hardal. It actually says hardal.
Put Polonaise on it now.
What?
Right? The Polonaise sauce with
That also delicious,
the
exactly.
raisins. Yeah, the raisins.
Yeah. Anyway, so now
What would the Kohen do with the
he would sell it.
redeemed animals that he gets? He would sell it?
Oh, so now in the case of the sheep, if they gave him a sheep, he would sell it.
The Kohen would sell it?
Yeah, he would be able to sell it, or if they usually would just give him the money. They would say, okay, look, how much is because they know the Kohen, he prefers the money. So they say the sheep costs $100. Here's $100. That's usually the way it was done. They give the Kohen the $100. But in the case of the Zeroah, what?
What was this about? How he
Oh, because the Kohanim and the Leviim, they wouldn't have real estate in Israel. The Kohanim and the Leviim, they were not given farmland. So now everybody else had farmland. Because the Kohanim and the Leviim were involved in teaching Torah to the people. So they were given cities. Arei Halvi means they had cities where they would live. They were given cities, but not with farms. So the farming was done by everybody else. So therefore, there was a type of taxation, you want to call it. There would be Ma'aser Rishon that goes to the Levi, 10% of the produce. There would be Terumah. There would be different Matanot Keuna that the Kohanim would be entitled to. Yes. So one of the Matanot Keuna was Zeroah, Lechayim, and Keva. When you make shechita on an animal, and there's Lechayim includes the tongue, right? So what I said is that if you don't give it to the Kohen, it's Mutar Be'ana. It's not like the Peter Hamor, which is Asur Be'hana'ah, unless you redeem the donkey, right? The tongue, even if you buy it from a butcher and you don't do what he's supposed to do, I don't know. They do it. I'm sure there's something they do. Maybe they give money to a Kohen. I'm not sure. Be that as it may, it's Mutar Be'ana. You're allowed to eat it. All right. Let's continue the law. Hagonev Tivlo shel havero. Give me a napkin. Just got like a slight allergy here. Thank you. Perfect. Give me a second. I'm just gonna get some water. Yeah. Okay. So, well. All right. Thank you. So let's continue. Hagonev, thank you very much. I'm thirsty. Good, okay. הגונב תבלו של חברו, באכלו, משלם לו דמי תבלו. וכן, אם גנב חלבו באכלו, משלם לו דמי חלבו. Two very interesting laws. I can't explain them. I'm going to tell you what the laws are. I don't understand them. Okay, first of all, what's tevel? Tevel is as follows.
Is it mine?
What? No, it's similar.
Right.
Demai is like safek. Tevel is vadai.
Okay.
Right? So what's tevel? So tevel is as follows. So in the land of Israel, as I said, the Kohanim and the Levim did not get any portion in the land of Israel. They had residential areas, but not farmland. Okay, so now, according to halacha, I own a field of wheat. I have to give terumah to the Kohen. Terumah means I give a certain percentage. It's about 2%. Give it to the Kohen. Okay. Then I give to the Levi, I give Maaser Rishon. And there's a few other things. Maaser Sheni, Maaser Ani. Okay. Depending on the year, because it's a 7-year cycle. According to the law, before you take out the Terumot and Maasrot, that produce is called tevel. Do you know who's allowed to eat tevel? No one. No one is allowed to eat tevel. In fact, if a person eats tevel, it's worse bar minan than eating non-kosher meat. Non-kosher meat is malkut. Tevel is haya mita b'dei shamayim. So tevel is very, very severe penalty for eating tevel. Okay? The Kohen is not allowed to eat tevel. The Yisrael is not allowed to eat tevel. Nobody's allowed to eat tevel. So let's say Reuven has a wheat field. He just harvested the wheat. He didn't have a chance to take out the terumot and maasrot. Comes Shimon, he robs the tevel. Okay, he eats it. All right. Yeah, he ate it. All right. Now, according to halacha, he pays only the tevel. He pays the value of the tevel that he robbed. Why? Like, why not pay double?
What's the value of that? You can't even put a number on it because it was.
So that's a very good question. I'll answer your question right now.
Because between him and Hashem,
It's true, but like I want to answer the question that Isaac asked, namely, how would you put a value on it? And the reason he's asking that question is because we just said he has to pay the value. So I agree with you that he doesn't pay the kefel because it's between him and Hashem. Okay, fair enough. But he has to pay the value. He has to return the value to the owner. So the answer is as follows. You have this tevel. Let's say you had 100 bushels of wheat. I don't even know how do you measure wheat? Like, does anybody know? Okay, 100 pounds of wheat. This 100 pounds of wheat, you know what the value would be. Meaning, I know that I would take out 2 pounds for terumah to the Kohen. I would take out another 10 pounds, actually, a little less than 10, because 10% of the remaining, I give it to the Levi, okay? Let's say at the end I'm left with 80 pounds of wheat. After all the matanot, I'm just giving you like a theoretical, without going into the nitty-gritty of the mathematics, because the mathematics is a little trickier. So now I know how much 80 pounds of wheat is worth. But as far as the amount that was going to go to the Levi, that also had a value. Meaning, the Levi was going to buy it. I mean, not buy it, he was going to get it. And he could have sold it, he could have eaten it. So that also has a value. And even what the Kohen would get, even the terumah of the Kohen has a value. Maybe less, because only Kohanim are allowed to eat terumah. So the Kohen can't just sell the terumah to whoever he wants to sell it, but he can sell it to another Kohen if he wants to. So it has a value. You can establish it. The court would need to establish what was the value of what he robbed, and based upon that, he would return it to the owner from whom it was robbed. You understand the law? Right? So that's teva. Now, why not double? Maybe because of what you said. Maybe Chaya Mita B'dei Shamayim. I don't know. But then another thing which is even more bizarre, and this I can't explain at all. וכן אם גנב חלבו ואכלו. If a person robbed the haleb and he ate it. Now let me explain to you this law. This law is really strange. There are certain types of fat in the animal that it is forbidden to eat. It's hayab karet, ban minan. It's like eating on Yom Kippur. When you go to the butcher, they always, obviously, they know how to remove this fat.
The vein.
Right, no, that's nikur. That's another one. That's also, yes, there's also nikur. That's for the gid hanasheh. And yes, they know. In fact, they're so concerned about it that they don't even eat. They don't even do it. They just get rid of it because they feel like we don't know exactly how to do nikur at the butchers here in America. The butchers in Israel, the Yemenites, they know how to do nikur. In fact, the Yemenites, they say that the grandmothers, they all knew how to do nikur. It wasn't even a question. Everybody knew how to do nikur, and they used to do nikur. Okay, God, by the way, the Yemenites, I have to say, they have like traditions that everybody else lost. So hats off to you people, because it's actually unbelievable. It's not just for the nikur; it's also for the grasshoppers and other things. They know what the grasshoppers are. There was a big controversy in Israel when the Yemenites came to Israel. They used to eat the grasshopper, kosher grasshoppers, obviously, not food, right? So they knew what the kosher grasshopper was like, and they would eat it. So then there was some rabbis, they went against it. Who are you to you can't eat it, we don't know what the grasshopper is. So the Yemenites would say, you don't know, we know. Maybe you don't know, don't eat it, we know. There's a famous rabbi from Jerusalem, his name is Rav Bastri, a very good friend of my father. My father, Shalom, he was the Abbatin in Yerushalayim. So he was discussing with my father. He wrote a Pesach. If you're Yemenite, eat the grasshopper. They have a masoret. We don't have a masoret. They have a masoret. They can eat it. Let them eat it. So right?
Can we eat it because they?
What?
Can we eat it because they?
I think so. Meaning, I think if you go to a person, Yemenite, Shomer Torah Mitzvot, and he says, I know this grasshopper, the masoret, we eating it. Yeah. No reason not to. I mean, I wouldn't, I wouldn't eat it, I would never eat it, but that's a different story. What? Yeah. I don't know. I have to ask your friends to know. No. I'm sure they can tell you.
To be honest, this is the first time I'm hearing it.
Maybe the new generation. We have Western sensibilities today. But anyway, be that as it may, there was a part of chaleb, for example, in the kidneys. There's inside the kidneys a certain chaleb, but minan hayab karet. Now this guy, he robbed the
I see in the Bahari in Queens, they're eating kidneys. They're selling it in the stores over there.
Right.
So
There's a certain type of chaleb. There's a certain type of chaleb that you have to. There's a certain type of fat that you have to remove.
That little
Yes,
piece.
exactly. Now, baminan, that fat is hayab karet. So now, if the robber robbed that fat, now let me ask you a question: what is the fair market value of that fat? I would say zero. What can you possibly do with it? Can't eat it. So what are you gonna do with it? What?
Can you sell it? Benefit.
Man. Okay. Interesting. Maybe. You're right. Maybe sell to a boy. I don't know. Alright. It says, by the way, Im ganav chalbo va'achalo, he has to pay the value of the chaleb. Maybe you're right. Maybe that's a value. Okay. Extending the law.
It's the best part.
What? It's the best part? Okay. Alright, fine. Maybe.
For the goyim.
They used to have, what they used to do is, they used to take the sheep and they used to take the tail of the sheep, and that's all fat. And they would take the fat and mix it in with the meat and make like a shish kebab. That was actually very good. I remember when I was young. Okay, let's continue. גנב תרומה מבעלי הישראלים שהפרישוה, אינו משלם תשלומי כפל, שאין להם. Okay, actually, you know what? I want to skip a law because I know it's a little late. But go to הלכה ו'. הגונן משל אביו. A person robbed his father. Okay, interesting. So, for example, he robbed a cow. וטבח ומכר. And then he slaughtered it or he sold the cow. Now, normally, what did we say? You have to pay him 4 or 5, right? And then his father died. You pay what?
He pays to himself?
No. He has to pay to his father's estate. So first of all, there's the estate. So the Bet Din, let's say, or maybe there's a trustee in charge of the estate. So he's going to pay the money to the estate. Now the father died after he slaughtered the animal. So because he died after he slaughtered the animal, when the father was alive, the son was already liable to pay the father for Tashlumei Arba'a or Hamisha. And then he died, so that liability does not get extinguished by the father's death, and therefore he has to pay it to the estate. Now what does that mean? It means that if he has brothers and whatever, they're going to divide everything, and however they divide it, they divide it. Okay. But he has to pay to the estate, and then the estate will give him his portion. You understand the idea? Yeah? He has a liability. The only way to fulfill his liability is to pay it. Right? So it's two separate transactions. Meaning you say, oh, so what does he have to pay? The answer is he has to pay because he has to satisfy the penalty that the Torah imposed upon him. Because if you don't satisfy the penalty that way, we believe that the penalty will be satisfied in some other way. So you must pay the penalty to avoid, God forbid, a negative consequence from somewhere else.
What if the father died? Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
What if the father died first and then?
The Imet Aviv, if the father died first, in this case, Mishalim Tashlum Mechefer. In this case, he only pays double because the liability. Okay, let me explain to you. The Tashlum Mechefer, the liability for the double, happened while the father was alive. So that liability is there. After the father died, he slaughtered the animal, let's say, or he sold the animal, let's say. So you say, oh, you should pay 5 times. Why does it matter? It matters because after the father died, he becomes a partial owner of the animal that he's slaughtering. So because you see? So because he's a partial owner at this point, you're saying he's slaughtering his own animal. You're going to penalize him for slaughtering his own animal? Okay, maybe he's a partner with somebody else. Maybe he has 5 brothers. So now he's one of 6 brothers. Total of 6 brothers. He's one of 6. He has 5 brothers. He slaughters it. It's his. So it's his. You understand? But the original liability of Kefel didn't get extinguished by the death of the father. So he would pay the estate the Kefel, and then he would get whatever he's entitled to. You understand? Very, like these laws actually we can understand very precisely and very well. Okay. All right, let's stop here. We'll stop here. 9:15. Any questions? Any comments?
Make a difference if it's your father or somebody else. Why does it have to be only a relative? What if it's somebody else and that person died or didn't die?
Oh no. But then, no, because if it's your father
You're getting
and you slaughtered it after he died, you slaughtered your own animal.
You own it.
Okay.
But if you slaughtered it, if somebody else's, then you would have to pay 4 and 5. Even if you slaughtered it after the person died, now you pay 4 and 5 to the estate.
It's 4 or 5.
To the estate.
Regardless.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
Very good.
All right.
Everybody?
All right. Very
Very
good.
nice. All right.
That was fast.
The time really flew. Yeah. Yeah. Wow.